Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me again is Anupam Mishra ji, my good friend from Prayagraj, and we're going to be talking about a topic that has been the rage of the country for the last few weeks. Let's first welcome Anupam Mishra ji. Anupam ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you?
Thank you, sir.
Namaskar, sir.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Anupam ji, I'm going to yield the floor to you. You've known Justice Yashwant Verma for a long time. I'd like your take on what is happening now, what is playing out, because I'm getting some confused signals from various people, and I just want to make sure that our viewers get to know something from a person who has known him for a while. Over to you, sir.
See, it's not just about Yashwant Verma. It is about the institution. Yeah, judicially, I believe right now is on a crossroad. They have to take a very major decision because otherwise they'll be losing the faith of the public, and which is precisely very important for any institution in a democratic setup. As far as Yashwant is concerned, yes, he has been a schoolmate. We studied together for a long time in St. Joseph's, and uh, yes, I have practiced in Allahabad High Court for some time. I've also seen him as a lawyer, as a judge, and I personally believe that he was a damn fine judge. He was a very good judge. He had a very good understanding of the issues, and his judgments were quoted very frequently. And he became a judge at a very, very young age. You know, you're supposed to be around 45 years of age before you become a judge. So Yashwant became a judge when he was exactly 45. And hence there was a lot of talk whether he will go on to become the Chief Justice of India, one of the youngest judges in the country, and things like that. So when he was called over to Delhi High Court, and rather he put in his own application, he wanted to go to Delhi. And when he was transferred to Delhi High Court, so he immediately got into the collegium there into the Delhi High Court because let me explain the collegium. The Chief Justice and the next two judges in the seniority, they basically the first three judges, as far as the seniority is concerned, go on to make a collegium. And the collegium is very important because it in any high court it is the collegium which sends the name of the lawyers who should be elevated as judges. So you can say that it is the collegium which makes judges. Finally, it goes over to the Supreme Court Collegium, and Supreme Court Collegium decides, then they forward the names to the government of India. And of course, that's a process. So when he went to Delhi High Court, he immediately came, in a very short while, he came into the collegium. And right now he's the third judge from the top. So sort of he has been making judges now. He has been making judges for quite some time. Had he remained in the Allahabad High Court, he still would have been on the number 9 slot as far as the seniority is concerned. Now that he has been transferred to Allahabad High Court, he's back to number 9 slot.
So, okay. So he's gone down on the pecking order. Got it. Go ahead,
Yeah,
sir.
no, he's no more part of the collegium, you see, no?
Mm,
Allahabad High
mm.
Court, it will take him several years before he comes into the collegium. But Delhi High Court, when he went there, and he was supposed to be the blue-eyed boy for the then Chief Justice of India, 𝗤𝗚𝗏 Chandrachud. So 𝗤𝗚𝗏, as he is known in the judicial circles. So he was supposed to be the blue-eyed boy of the CGI, and he went to Delhi. He came into the collegium. Then he came out with a couple of orders we were talked about, and they were really quoted, and they were referred around. So he was doing a damn fine job, and but what has happened? Now, what has happened is that when you look at it, so the first question that comes to mind is that why would a judge, a high court judge, had nothing of this sort had happened, Yashwant would have gone on to become the Chief Justice of some state high court within the next 1 year. He would have been the Chief Justice in this year, maybe the next year. So, question is there that why would a high court judge keep such a huge amount? And for that purpose, why would anyone like you or me, why would we keep such a huge amount like 15 crores in the outhouse? Why would we keep it there? But then there is another question that a high court judge's bungalow is heavily guarded. How is it possible for some other agency to breach that security, come into the bungalow and plant the amount there.
And
There
then
can
set
be
it on
only,
fire.
and then set it on fire. So there can be only two, two solutions or two options. That either that money was put there by Justice Yashwant Verma, or someone else put the money there just to frame Justice Yashwant Verma. So number one, why would someone like Justice Yashwant Verma, why would someone like anyone put such a huge amount into a servant quarter, into an outhouse? But then again, that bungalow is quite guarded. It has a very good security system. How is it possible to bring sacks and sacks of money without the security or the staff working there? There are gardeners, there are servants there, the family of the judge. How is it possible that no one notices and sacks of money was brought in, it was put there, it was locked, and then it was put on fire? So in either case, you got a scenario of either case. But the point is, so it is not for me or for you or for anyone else to judge him, to judge him. I mean, there should not be a media trial, but that is a very utopian thing to ask. Right now, we are in an age where social media rules, and just matlab, okay, there should not be a media trial, but that does not mean there will not be a media trial. There has been a media trial of practically everyone. Even when you come, Mr. Iyer, when you come here and you speak and you say your piece on whatever you want to talk about, there are so many comments. There are people who like what you said. There are people who don't like what you said, and they are very vocal with their comments. So media trial is always going. Fortunately, unfortunately, we are living in a society where media trial is inevitable. And when I talk about media trial, it is not just the regular media. You are also being simultaneously judged and very heavily judged, or rather more judged on social media. So Justice Yashwant Verma, he himself has written a letter to the Chief Justice where he says that the most important thing in the judiciary for a judge is his reputation. As far as my reputation is concerned, Justice Yashwant Verma writes his reputation. He said his reputation has been irreparably damaged. He says his reputation has been irreparably damaged. Now, the thing is that if you honestly believe that you have just lost in an irreparable manner the only means which is which keeps the High Court judge on a pedestal, where he can sit in a court, decide 200 cases in a day, 100 people are happy, 100 people are not happy, and yet no one calls your integrity into question. I remember one of the chief justices here in the Allahabad High Court, he said something like this in open court. He said, uh, a district magistrate or subdivisional magistrate or superintendent of police, he cannot go into a crowd out of 500 people and make a decision which goes against half the crowd. He cannot walk into a crowd and yet announce something which goes against half the crowd. He cannot do that. He will be afraid for his security. But we judges sit here, we make decisions throughout the day, which of course are okay for one side, but go against the next side. And yet, even the losing advocate, he bows against us and says, "Obliged, my lord." So that high moral pedestal they enjoy, they're supposed to be my lords. The entire world has moved on. You go to any Western country, you go to England from where we inherited our judiciary, even there they call sir or judge. But we are still stuck up there, we call them my lords. They're still Nyaya Murti. They're supposed to be gods. And despite so many proposals, so despite so many assertions that by the bars all over the country, okay, we'll be calling them sirs, we'll be calling them judges, will not be calling them my lords. They're still called my lords. Couple of judges I know, they said my lord is something which has gone into our blood. There is nothing else that we want to be addressed as. My lord is the only thing we want to be addressed at. So, such a high moral uh, pedestal you enjoy. I tell you, there was a time in Allahabad High Court, and that must have been all over the world, but this is something we heard in Allahabad High Court. There was not a retirement age of the judges. A judge himself was supposed to decide when he should retire. That is the type of pedestal that they have been placed on. Yes.
Anupamji, today in the Supreme Court of the United States, the judges themselves decide when it is time to retire. They are judges appointed for life. Today, it continues in. It
I
is
know that. I know that. I
the
know that.
norm in US, sir.
I know, but those judges are appointed by someone else. Here, the judges are appointing themselves. Another point is the judges will appoint themselves, and they themselves cannot decide now when they will decide, when they will retire. So, chale jaane dijiye. Let us talk about the collegium system also. I have been saying this time and again that I am pretty okay with the collegium system, because whenever I say I'm okay with the collegium system, there are so many people who run me down. How can you support a system? How can you support a system like collegium? I tell you why. Politics in our country, India, I mean, for the last 3.5 decades has reached a level where I shudder to think the type of judges that would have been appointed by people like Lalu Yadav, people like Mulayam Yadav, so many politicians I don't want to name. Had they had the chance to appoint the judges, imagine the type of judges we would have come up with. Look at the United States. Look at the type of judges you are getting, and look at the type of political ideology they hold. Look at the type of judgments they come up with, and look at the criticism they face. Look how Trump calls them out. So, ठीक है, I'm okay with the collegium system. The only thing I want is, see, everyone wants accountability. If there is no accountability, any system will go rogue. And how do you have accountability? Just have a transparency. Transparency leads to accountability. My point is, you want to hold your collegium meeting, you want to decide who will become the judge, do that by all means. But once you hold that collegium meeting, so that meeting is written down. The words of that meeting should be released to the public at large, so that people have a right to know if a person has been chosen as a judge, why, if a person's name has been declined, or he has been not allowed to become a judge, then why again? If a judge is being transferred from my high court to another high court, why? If a judge has been judged for his capabilities and for his overall performance, the public ought to know about it. My point is bringing transparency. The transparency itself will lead to accountability. But this is something that has not come up. You hold your collegium meeting, you decide Mr. Iyer would be a judge, Anupam Mishra would not be a judge, but why? No one will be ever told. You will decide that Mr. So and so will be transferred from this high court to that high court. Why? You'll never come up with an answer. You will decide why a judge in the overall seniority of 25 all over the country will be elevated as a judge of the Supreme Court, superseding 24 people. Why? Will not be told. You want to work as per your own wishes, do so by all means, but let us have the reasons. My point is transparency leads to accountability. And right now, the system is so opaque. Anytime you talk to them, you said, we are dealing it in-house. What is in-house? What is in-house? You're not gods anymore. So my point is, there was Justice J.S. Verma, another Chief Justice of India, I remember. He very famously remarked that no system can be better than the times in which it operates. कोई भी व्यवस्था अपने समकालीन समाज से बेहतर नहीं हो सकती. So if the political system is not so good, if the media is not so good, if the bureaucracy is not so good, how can the judges still be gods? Not possible. So as far as this Justice Yashwant Verma thing is concerned, I think none of us is in a position to actually judge him or know what exactly has gone on. See, it needs a very fair and a very detailed and a very impartial inquiry. But unless that happens, in fact, let me put up a scenario. Say an inquiry is held and Justice Verma is given a clean chit. I ask you, sir, if Justice Verma is given a clean chit by the in-house mechanism that they are talking about, Supreme Court is talking about is an in-house mechanism where the judges will judge the judges. Okay. Suppose that in-house mechanism goes on to give a clean chit to Justice Yashwant Verma, and suppose Justice Verma is really innocent, and the inquiry goes on to give a clean chit. Now tell me one thing. Do you really believe that he will be back on that moral pedestal on which he was, say, a month ago? Do you really believe that next when Mr. Justice Yashwant Verma will deliver an order in the High Court, will it not be taken with a pinch of salt? So that is my question, that guilty or innocent, Justice Yashwant Verma unfortunately finds himself into a situation where his particular judicial career is almost over. And what is more, that if this system goes on to defend him anymore, as it tried defending him, the entire institution loses credibility. I give you two reasons why I say the system tried defending him. Number one, we were informed about this fire thing around 20th. That this happened in the night of 14th. The very next day, the police commissioner told the Chief Justice, and the Chief Justice informed the Chief Justice of India, and a collegium meeting was held. We were only told a week later. Why? Number one. Number two, when the Supreme Court transferred Justice Yashwant Verma to Allahabad High Court, a press release came out and said that this transfer has nothing to do with whatever has happened in his bungalow. But when the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court writes a letter to the Chief Justice of India, he categorically mentions there that his transfer is taking place on your instructions because such thing happened there. So the letter of the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court to the Chief Justice of India virtually contradicts the press release of the Supreme Court. So number one, the entire thing was not allowed to come to the knowledge of the common public for 5 or 6 days. And number two, the Supreme Court, the press release they came out with turns out not to be so true. So my point is that if the system is still, I tell you about one case 17 years ago, there was one Justice Nirmal Yadav in Punjab and Haryana High Court. There also something like this happened. And that time the Chief Justice of India allowed the CBI to conduct an inquiry. The CBI filed a case, they registered an FIR, they told the CBI not to arrest Justice Nirmal Yadav. The case went on and on and on. And you know what? Justice Nirmal Yadav finally resigned in a very honorable manner with full retirement benefits. And 17 years down the line, the case is yet to be decided. The case is still pending. Do we want that? It's not possible. 17 years, a lot of water has flown into the Ganges. Social media immediately has come up as a huge tool. And there's something called these phone cameras. It was not possible at that time to make videos and all. So my point is, the times have changed. And what happened in the case of Justice Nirmal Yadav will not apply to the case of Justice Yashwant Verma. Sir.
Thank you so much. See, there are two things that you have brought out a very, very articulated way. One is there is a court of law, and that the other one is the court of people. And that's where Yashwant Verma ji is saying that now my reputation is tarnished forever. And where this is kind of becoming a little bit, what I call is gale mein atakti hai, something like that, where it sticks in your throat, is because this judge has had a fine reputation. The problem is,
Mr. Iyer, he had a very fine reputation, but he also had a case registered against him by the CBI in 2017, which was after he became a judge. Which was after he became a judge, and subsequently the Supreme Court of India closed that inquiry.
Yes, see, so I'm aware of that, and we did a little bit of research on that also, and looks like he's one among several directors of a sugar company, and
non-executive director, that too.
Non-executive. Look, sometimes these things happen. You forget that like for example, Anupam ji, you are a good friend of his. you start a new company, you say, I need to make a quorum. I'm just telling you. It's not that it is happening that way. I need so many people in this thing so that I build a quorum for a company. I need a board of director constitution, not more, not less than so many. I'm just saying this is because no misappropriation of conduct has been proven or anything like that in that particular
But
sugar.
do you know, Ms. Iyer, sir, that Yashwant was an advocate for company law only?
Yes, yes.
That is his specialization. His father was also a judge, and Justice A.N. Verma, his father, after retirement, he went on to become the chairman of MRTP Commission.
Monopolistic, restrictive trade
Yes,
practices. Yeah.
yes.
All I can say, Anupamji, is that somewhere, see, something isn't clear. For example, you mentioned about breach of security. Second thing is, why so much delay? Third thing is, why should the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court write in such a way that has caused the Bar Council in Allahabad High Court to protest, saying, don't send him here? That sounds very unusual too, because they should know him more. He was actually a judge at the Allahabad High Court.
Most of
Why?
the people in Bar Association in Allahabad High Court, most of the people, I say, have worked with Yashwant. Most of them. In fact, today the law ministry has called the chairman of the Bar Association to Delhi. I think they want to convince him on something. He has gone there.
It's not, I think this is something that's serious. See, also remember in the 2G case, one of the justices who canceled the 122 licenses, he was targeted many years later in Calcutta when a lady accused him of sexual molestation. And my sources tell me that he is a very, very clean person. He doesn't do. See, judges are also aware of some of these kinds of things that go around them. They're very careful about who they even nod at. I mean, if you're caught in a public place, you have to make eye contact.
ISL, there used to be a saying in Allahabad High Court that the High Court judge should be living like a Hindu widow. A Hindu widow, they used to say that was a saying which came down from the British times. A Hindu widow, I mean, they should not be seeing people, they should not be going to parties, they should not be attending public functions, they should not have too many friends. So much so that when a judge, after being in the High Court for 10 years, when he retired, he was virtually friendless.
Very true, very true, very true. So I think the last word has not been said yet. So there are, I mean, I'm not going to ask you and put you on the spot on this, Anupamji. There are rumors swirling that number 1 and number 3 in the Delhi High Court had some sort of a difference of opinion. This could be that got played out in the public. That's, again, this is a rumor. See, what happens is the moment you see something like so many thousands, so many crores of money got burnt, or at least there was so much money, the whole thing takes a different dimension. It's a different matter that I know for a fact judiciary is quite corrupt in India. I mean, we even just did the talk is money gets distributed even to just give another vaida to get to the next date, forget about judgment. Why? Is because in most cases in India, there is, right from the get-go of a case, one guy knows he's going to lose, he or she is going to lose, the other person, so they try to deny that by doing all sorts of things like that. Let it be. There are many such cases, and people do bench shopping, they do all sorts of stuff. Unfortunately, here we are dealing with the reputation of a person, and his only thing is his reputation, and you have taken direct aim at that. And I want our viewers to keep an open mind. This is not as black and white as is being made out to be. Viewers, give some time. And I also find it strange that Allahabad High Court bench goes up like in an uproar. You are not the one to decide. Also, he could have been shifted to another high court. Why send him back to the parent high court? That's another question I would have.
There was no point of transfer. In so many cases in Allahabad High Court, when there was an inquiry pending against the judge concerned, he was simply, he or she was simply told to sit at home. The person was not given any judicial work. There was no point in transferring the man. Actually, one of the things that has come up is that judiciary wanted to transfer it, sort of a punishment, and leave it at that. That is something people are not willing to go along with.
Well, we'll wait and see how this plays out. Anupamji, last word from you, and viewers, again, please watch this with an open mind. We're not taking sides here. We're looking at the institution of judiciary, and we always say this thing. When a judgment is delivered, we always say justice should not only be fair, but it should appear to be fair. So somewhere things are kind of getting off the rails here. Let's wait and see. Last word from you, Anupamji, and then we'll wind it up.
Well, as you said, one of the most important judicial adages that we have, that the justice should not only be done, it should be seen as done. And the second, of course, is that one cannot be a judge in his own cause. I would like to leave it at that.
Thank you so much, Anupam Mishra ji. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And we'll be back again with Anupam ji very shortly. Namaskar.